All right, good morning to you all. Welcome to Lancaster University, Ghana uh, Tuesday Taster. Um, just welcoming you to today's session on artificial intelligence. We hope to give you an insight into what artificial intelligence is all about and what it's like studying artificial intelligence at Lancaster University, Ghana. So just to start off, my name is Dr. Harold Okai-Tettey, lecturer with Lancaster University, Ghana, and I teach a number of courses, and in particular, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has been around for some time. It's slowly becoming very popular these days, and a lot of buzzwords going around that makes the subject area very cool and enticing to want to be part of. And why is it so predominant these days? Artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI, is really gaining grounds, really because there is vast amounts of data that is generated by human beings and machine alike. And it's becoming increasingly complex. And we need other ways to be able to process this data and give insights and meaningful insights into what this data is all about. Normally, human beings, scientists, data analysts would do this task, but we're increasingly seeing that shifting towards machines. So in a nutshell, why AI is really because the world is filled with vast amounts of data that really needs to be processed. And this far outpaces humans' ability to absorb, interpret, and make complex decisions based on this data. AI forms the basis for all computer learning and is the future of all complex decision making. But it simply put, AI is really about making computers think and act like humans. When you study AI, artificial intelligence, the whole objective of that module is really to get machines as we know it to be able to act and think like human beings do. So, how do we build intelligence in machines? And really, that's what artificial intelligence is all about. We've seen this manifest in our everyday lives through various apps and tools and solutions we've all used. And I've highlighted a few examples of some of the applications that I know most of you have used, but you haven't really understood how these all work. Google, actually, Google should be on this list, but let's start with Amazon. Amazon, as we all know, it's a brand that has existed for a long time. And the makers of Amazon use artificial intelligence techniques really to improve the marketing experience of the customers that go onto the Amazon sites so that they could recommend other products, other similar likes or dislikes, to just really improve the retail experience, one, and also to increase sales over the Amazon platform. Netflix, which has become very popular recently due to COVID-19, has seen a lot of people. As you all know, it's a platform for movie sharing and basically streaming on demand, video on demand. So you can just take a step back and think about all the movies out there that's really you would like to watch. But it's impossible to really get a full list of movie genres that you'd be interested in. So Netflix has an inbuilt algorithm that is able to recommend based on previous movies you've seen, based on your preferences, is able to recommend movies that it thinks that you would enjoy based on previous history. Tesla, as we all know, is really into auto mechanical engineering, and they're employing a lot of AI techniques in trying to build autonomous machinery, self-driving cars, self-propelling robots, rockets, and things like that. Siri, if you've ever used a Mac computer, you should have come by Siri. Siri, similar to I've forgotten what the name is. Basically, is a helper that is able to assist users of Mac computers, Mac gadgets to be able to navigate around. So it can support you whilst you're driving. So you can just talk to it, give it instructions. It's able to search for things online, make phone calls for you, and so on and so forth. Pandora is an internet radio service or a music streaming service that, again, similar to Netflix, is able to suggest various genres and types of music that you would enjoy listening to. So in a nutshell, these are very simple, everyday uses or applications of artificial intelligence in our everyday lives. We've all come across this in one way or the other, but it really will be great to have to be in a position where you can actually create these things, understand how they work, and then develop the field of artificial intelligence applications a bit further. Aside consumer applications of AI, we also see AI being used in a more at a more greater scope, at either at the national level or at an industrial level. So here I've highlighted a few other examples. So right, the top picture shows an AI software analyzing movements of people, for example. So we have two individuals here who are going about their business, and we have this AI module that is analyzing your movements, and this was showcased at a robotics session in Beijing in 2008. The picture underneath it is a presentation of a device that helps with Google's 360 view or 360 vision. It's as you know, Google has a streets map view, a street view map, and the technology at the bottom there employs software and algorithms that is able to, again, pinpoint certain locations of interest and present them onto a 3D or 360 degrees presentation. In the more industrial scale, we see robots used all the time. So this is an example of a fully autonomous factory where robots are used to do assembly and manufacture goods. So in this particular example, this actually represents an assembly plant at the BMW factory. And of course, all these things are driven by software that are programmed to, at the end of the day, achieve a certain output. You can imagine that human beings doing all these tasks, going back to the character detection, the camera, and the manufacturing, we will not achieve the level of scale that machines can. So these machines need to be intelligent and smart to be able to perform these tasks that human beings ordinarily are capable of doing, but not at the scale and scope that machines are able to do it. So where does AI take us to? So this actually is a clip from a very good movie that I feel demonstrates the power of artificial intelligence very well. Sorry, just skip that. So it's a movie called Ex Machina, released in 2014, which really focuses on the various aspects of AI and even some of the dangers of AI. So as we try to make machines more intelligent, We also should be wary about some of the ethical issues and societal issues that's we have to consider. So part of learning AI in Lancaster is also it's about revealing or teaching you about the ethical constraints that one has to consider in in implementing these solutions. But you can see, we've all seen these movies, futuristic movies. This is just an example, but if you think back to the Terminator movie or any cyborg movie that is able to identify objects around, search for things. For example, the Terminator. That's sort of where the world could be going to if AI is not used properly or ethically at that instance. So we have to be responsible in our use. It has good and bad objectives, and it's good for us to be aware of what these objectives are and build software responsibly. So coming back to Lancaster University, Ghana, we can see I've just listed a number of courses that you'll be studying under the AI module. And this is just a few of them: agent design, data science, machine learning, neural networks, genetic programming. These are large concepts in AI that help you to solve problems that is related to the solution that you're trying to build. And of course, just to add to this point, strictly speaking, artificial intelligence is a collection of other disciplines. For example, it borrows concepts from psychology, it borrows concepts from philosophy, it borrows a lot of concepts from mathematics, from engineering, from computer science itself. Computer science, AI really brings all these concepts together. And because you're thinking about it, you're really trying to build intelligence in a machine. And intelligence itself is a complex concept to understand. So this module is usually taught in the latter part of your degree program at the third year level, hoping by then you would have gathered enough basics and fundamentals to help you appreciate some of the advanced concepts you'll be picking up during the AI module. So yes, and also just to add to that, it's really unfortunate that COVID-19 has caused a disruption in the educational framework globally. But also the brighter side of it is that, it gives the opportunity for you as students, prospective students, or students of computer science to be able to appreciate some of the opportunities that computer science has or presents or it's able to solve in the context of COVID-19. So I'm hoping that some of this will present new problems that that computer science should be able to solve by innovating better solutions and hopefully leapfrog into the next century. All right, thank you very much. This was a short and brief presentation just to give you a little insight into artificial intelligence. It's a very broad topic, very broad subject, and I've by no means digested everything you need to know about AI by the slide, but this just presents to you what the possibilities are, and hopefully to give you a little taster into what to expect. So you need to come prepared to really take on the module and go through the various foundations that it takes to really come out at the very end being an AI practitioner. At this point, I'd like to invite Christopher. He's one of our alumni to share some of his experiences while studying at LUG. All right, Christopher, if you could come in.
Hi, my name is Christopher Dada. I graduated Lancaster University, Ghana in 2019. I must say that, hold on a second, let me see the video. I hope all can see me. Yes, like I was saying that I graduated Lancaster in 2019, and although like listening to this webinar about artificial intelligence, it just showed me how Lancaster is evolving, and it's making me want to even go back to school and want to go get into artificial intelligence because Lancaster broadens your perspective on education. It's not just about being in a classroom and learning, but it's about wanting to make change and wanting to go out there and learn more and make an impact. And although during my time at Lancaster, I did not study IT, I studied business studies, there was some sort of IT and how IT could impact how I went about my daily activities and went about making change and helping me study and going into the business world well informed. And that's what Lancaster gives you. You know, what I find interesting about today's webinar was the fact that it gives you a base and it shows you how a lot of things are impacted by IT and a lot of things, artificial intelligence allows us to see that the world is evolving and we would need to have some base of IT and how things work around us. So I would say that if you're considering coming to Lancaster and you're considering to do IT, you have to open your mind and open yourself to allowing it to change how you think and wanting to be a part of it, not just wanting to have information and say that, oh, I did artificial intelligence or I studied IT at Lancaster University. Actually go out there and make a change. And that's what Lancaster does. Right now, what Lancaster has helped me do is from the day-to-day activities, doing a lot of presentations, doing a lot of talking with lecturers, it's allowed me to relate in my work now to people in the industry of higher levels, as well as give presentations to all classes, to my colleagues, as well as to maybe board of directors or to people in higher positions, and they understand what I'm speaking about and everything. Now, looking back at my time at Lancaster, one of my memorable or the most memorable parts of being on campus was just having a tight, close-knit family around. Everybody seemed like you could speak to them, the lecturers, the staff, the even down to like the drivers and the the stewards and everybody like that. And it just helps you feel more comfortable in your surroundings. And I must say that Lancaster gives you the opportunity to feel at home, as well as get a quality education in your country, and allows you to boast about the degree you hold when you finish. I must say, Lancaster has put me in positions and put me in places where I feel more confident and want to continue to speak about Lancaster. And it's wonderful to see how Lancaster is growing over the years. And also, I want to be a part of that growth and make an impact wherever I go. So I hope to hear more stories and be part of more of these webinars. And I hope more students and more prospective students would join Lancaster and we build a larger community outside of the educational sector as well. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Christopher. That's a very encouraging words, and I'm glad that your experience at Lancaster was very useful, and it's impacting beyond your studies at Lancaster. So I think this brings me to the end of the webinar of my talk on AI. If there are any questions, I'd like to now take them. So I'm going to just go through the list of questions that some of the prospects have had. So one says, okay, I think I've answered that. The first says, this sounds really interesting. Is artificial intelligence a module taught at Lancaster, Ghana? If so, what year? So yes, it is a module, and it's taught at the final year, which is the third year of your studies. So as I explained earlier, it's really an advanced module, and by implication, it requires some foundation courses to be covered in the first and second years. So you go through those foundation in year 1 and year 2, and then you you take up the artificial intelligence module in the final year. So next question says, is artificial intelligence a compulsory module for all computer science students? Again, yes, it is. It's a compulsory module, and all students are required to take it. What background is required to understand and work with AI-based systems? So as I indicated earlier, artificial intelligence borrows a lot from other disciplines. It's a very, very, very broad area. But what the AI course does in the context of computer science is really to focus on computer science concepts that you would have covered from other modules. So for example, um, data structures, algorithm design, problem solving, searching techniques, and so on and so forth. It borrows from all these concepts and also concepts from psychology, from engineering, that helps you bring together a solution for a problem. AI is basically just like other objectives of computer science, is really about solving problems. So if you think about it, as a human being does in most days, in every situation they find themselves, is really about trying to find a solution to a problem that they may be faced with. Some of the solutions we take for granted because we do them every day. We don't even recognize that they are problems. But waking up from your bed, for example, figuring out what you have to do for the day, how you're going to get from A to B, which route to take, and so on and so forth. These are all problems that present themselves and they need solutions. So AI agents, as we call them, are intelligent beings that are able to solve these problems. So it borrows a lot of problem-solving techniques. Some you would do from other computer science modules, very important computer science modules. Others you would borrow from other academic disciplines, and all towards really writing an algorithm that solves the problem. Thank you very much for that question. That was very useful. What are some of the benefits of studying computer science? Computer science, as Christopher said in his presentation, really gives you the opportunity to solve problems. And as the world is getting more and more digital, more and more sophisticated, and more complex, to be quite honest, having the skills and the acumen to be able to implement solutions to these problems will be very useful. So benefits is vast. I mean, if you don't go into mainstream engineering, computer science, problem solving, some of the concepts that you pick up from going through the module can be applied in other disciplines. So for example, logical reasoning, critical thinking, problem formation, rationalization, all those concepts that help you solve problems, it can be applicable in other academic disciplines. So even if you switch off to do business, if you switch off to do law, if you switch off to do marketing, you will acquire some of the fundamental critical thinking processes that can also help you advance in those areas as well. But generally speaking, the world is getting more and more complex, and more data is produced every single time. And having the ability to be able to process this data, make sense of it, and contribute meaningfully back into the society is very useful. What are some of the other modules on the program? So that's another question. So the computer science program covers, if I'm not mistaken, about 14 modules. So you'll do courses like databases, computer networks, algorithm design, digital electronics, embedded systems, internet applications. it just goes on and on and on and on. And it's 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 um, all these courses basically build up towards from the foundation in year one to intermediary year two to more advanced programs in year. Okay. So we got 4 more questions. What is the nature of the AI module at Lancaster University, Ghana? What related aspects are covered? Okay, by this, I think I may have answered this indirectly in some of my other responses. So AI at Lancaster University, Ghana really focuses on what we call agents design. So how do you design agents? And the word agents I'm using as a blanket word to describe software that has intelligence. So typically you would probably write a piece of software to perform a particular task to achieve a particular goal. And that's you typically refer to as algorithms. But if you have software that is able to think and act like humans, as I said initially, then we refer to those as agents. So the module at Lancaster University, Ghana focuses on how to design these agents. So we look at 4 key areas, which is one of it is problem solving. The other is reasoning. So how do agents reason? Again, mimicking it to human intelligence. So human beings often solve problems, often have to reason through things. Learning is a very big aspect of that. So if you think of yourselves having, right from infancy up to this present day, there's so much things you've had to learn along that way. So we look at how different types of learning paradigms, how artificial intelligence agents are able to learn and then use that to improve their knowledge base and then tackle more and more complex problems. So in a nutshell, the AI Lancaster really hinges on these 4 main areas. So agent design, problem solving, learning, and then languages. Understanding languages is also very key because there's an aspect of communicating, whether orally or by words or other forms. Communicating, language understanding is also very key. So these are the 4 main areas we cover, but it's a very broad subject area. You could go beyond this and study much deeper at a master's level or at a doctorate level. Okay. The other question is there an opportunity to do some project work in AI if I were to come? Certainly. In the 2nd year and the 3rd year of Lancaster, we typically engage our students in projects. So, and we often find that most of our students often do AI-related projects in the area of machine learning, speech recognition, text extraction. It's a very catchy project area for most of our students. So there's a lot of opportunity to do projects related to AI. So do come and actually you may even check out some of the past projects done by some of our students if you're interested. So definitely there's a lot of opportunities in that area. How practical is the AI course for students? This is a very important question. Computer science, first and foremost, is a science discipline. So what we try to do is to develop concepts fundamentally, and then the module. So, because that's what makes a computer science student different from a student who studies other disciplines of information technology. Understanding the concepts and being able to apply the concepts is very, very key. So in terms of practicality in the AI module, we focus a lot of building on the concepts through software development, programming. So there is some element of practicals in the AI module, and the students have to demonstrate this through some mini project work they do, um, all towards, again, geared towards solving a problem. So, but again, AI is very broad. What I showed you in my presentation um, covers a lot more. As you can see, you saw some robots doing certain things. You saw cameras being displayed. So if you want to interface to that hardware, then you need some knowledge of computer engineering, some knowledge of digital electronics, some knowledge of embedded systems. So you can see other disciplines slowly feeding into the AI module. But at Lancaster, we cover AI for a 10-week period. So again, it's not enough time to exhaust the full program. But within that 10-week period, we give you enough opportunities to develop the concepts and then apply some of the concept to real world problems. Okay, is computer science program just theory, or students get the opportunity to work in the lab? Okay, so this is similar to, the response to this is similar to the previous question. So again, there's theory and lab work. Lab work is very important to us because that helps really bring out it demonstrates the ideas. It gives the students opportunities to demonstrate the concepts. But as I said earlier, theory is an important part of it because computer science is a science discipline, just like physics is, just like chemistry is, just like biology is. So first, the science part of computer science cannot be taken away. So there is an element of theory, but there's also an emphasis on practical demonstration. So we do have a lab, and we have students engaged in various projects within the lab space. What are the contact details if I want to study at LUG? The quickest way you can get our contact details is to visit the LUG's website. You'll find all the various departments at LUG there, the admissions office, the faculty office. I think your best bet is to start with the admissions office and post your questions to them. But visit our website, all information is available there for you to use. And the last question, what kind of jobs would a computer science graduates be able to apply for? So this is, I know most students always, they do a degree program with the opportunity to get employed. But with computer science, you could, if you end at the bachelor's level, which is which would be your first certificate that you might earn, you could definitely get jobs as a software developer, as a business analyst, as an engineer, as an embedded applications developer. But again, it depends on your interests, your interest areas. So some students go through the computer science program, but do not really enjoy software development. But as I said earlier, some of the concepts they learned through that program can be applied effectively in other areas. I recently came across a student who is studying accounting, but also interested in data science. So you can see there's a good fusion there between the rudiments of accounting as a discipline and data science, and what that allows her to be able to achieve much later on in life. So the opportunities are endless, but for a first job, typically you could do more software development type jobs. For those who don't want to work, you can go into a research space, do teaching assistants, or study further into a master's program. Okay, so I think I've answered all the questions. If there are any more questions, you're welcome to send them through. And from the questions, I can see that there's a lot of interest in the field of artificial intelligence. it's not an easy module. I should just point that out to you, and it requires a lot of work to get to grasp with the concepts. And foundations is very important. So it's very important to really build up build up progressively, and then take on a module like artificial intelligence, where you can apply all the foundational concepts that you've learned. Okay. All right, so let me just check if there are any more questions coming in. Okay, I believe I've answered all your questions. If there's still questions from some of you, do feel free to send them through. I hope this webinar was very insightful. Again, as I said earlier, it's really just a teaser into what to expect. But see yourselves as designers of AI solutions rather than the users of things. And if you're able to be able to design something, there's definitely the need to understand how it works. So the whole module of computer science is really to understand how computers work, how software works. And that's what I often tell my students when I first engage them, is your job here is really to understand how these things work. And if you have that understanding, it really empowers you to be able to do a lot more with that. So thank you very much for being a part of this webinar, and I'll be happy to take on further questions later on. Thank you very much.